So yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, I featured some pretty bad maths on this wall. Namely, this bit, the core bit. The fuck is that? I don't know how, but I forgot the fundamental trigonometry equations. What? And that means all of this is wrong, and it's a fucking miracle that it even came out right and did something logical. But remarkably, the only thing that changes is this is cos, not cos to the minus 1. And that's sine, not sine to the minus 1. Still, how it seemed to do something logical, I have no idea. Otherwise though, good morning ladies and gentlemen. I am currently, well, we got up this morning, it's a Sunday today and I'm just so lacking willpower to do anything. It's taken me a long time to move into the office and do stuff, and now I'm programming, I'm doing really friggin' generic stuff. I'm trying to reduce the number of calls that I'm doing to the service, just in case that uses power. I haven't explained what this coursework is yet, but anyway. So we went to go do some. We got up eventually. I set my alarm for like 7:30, and then got up about 8:30. I think after Laura managed to drag me out of bed, and then we had some bacon sandwiches, watched a bit of vlogs and stuff on TV, and then we started getting ready and came into here, and I've started like pottering basically. So this coursework, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't really given you the gist of it yet. I guess the best thing to do is show you a thing. Okay then, so here there is a world. This is called Mars, and there are several different scenarios that we've got to program bots for. So let's say scenario 1's like relatively complicated. Relatively. I think if you go up to scenario 2, I'm not sure what will happen if I click scenario 2, because you need more than one bot. I don't know if it will spawn your bot several times or what, I don't know. Or it just puts my bot in once. I don't know what it does, to be honest with you. So, here's what it is. There is a Mars. We're on Mars. We're developing Mars rovers, plural, in order to go around, pick up as many resources as possible, and get them back without running out of power. Flippin' heck. God damn it, I don't even have the spec downloaded in Google Drive. What a moron. So there are multiple scenarios. You have the first two scenarios where you have a single agent in the world, and that's the ones I'm working on at the moment. I'm trying to get my single agent to be really, really good before I start moving up to the multiple agents, because in the scenario that my multiple agents don't work, like they can't work together very well, then I've got a fully functional, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying there? The idea is that we develop as many different agents as possible. Like, well, it goes, there are 2 single ones, 2 3 ones, and then a 10 agent space. And you're put into this world where you are the green dot, bang, and then red is the base, and then you've got blue pockets of resources, and each resource has a different amount of data in it, although so far, in scenario 1 there's 10 there, in scenario 2 there's 5 at each one. So you have to develop a rover that is able to track down all of these places, go to them, pick it up, move it back to the base, by using as little power as possible. That's basically it, essentially. When you get up into the 3 rovers and 10 rovers, the idea is that they're able to work together. However, if you've got like a really good rover, they don't necessarily have to talk to each other a lot. So that's the thing I'm working on there. Is if I in theory get a really good rover, and I've just got 2 things I want to do to it now, and it should be adequate, I think. You don't need a lot of communication between them. All I need to do is let them tell each other when, I'll be like, well, I've just got one, reduce your idea of how many there are in the world, all that kind of shit. So, that's good. We're happy with this. That's the basic spec of the coursework, and that's basically what I'm doing. I've literally just described it all. At the moment I have a bot that's able to, it logically searches the space, it figures out the shortest route between all of the spaces that it knows of. There are a couple of things I want to do now, which is map out all of the resources that it has, and do that with reference to a starting point. So in theory, if it goes like this and it goes, if it's here and it sees a resource here and here, scans it, it'll figure out which one's closest, go to it, but then once this is depleted, it won't be able to see this one, so it doesn't know it's there, so it kind of just continues to scan again. And how it scans as well is it goes like this. So say it always starts at 0 0, because it's a world that maps around like that. So it doesn't know anything about the world, it just knows where itself is. So it starts at 0, 0, and then what it does is it goes like this, and goes down, scanning around it, then pops up at the top. And then in theory you create like a load of rings, like search that race, search, 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 and it'll go like that, and then come back down at the bottom, and then and in theory cover the entire space. So, but as soon as it sees one that it, like a resource that it spots, it goes to that and then just depletes that one before it then searches for another one, and all that kind of stuff. I've got a couple of questions here about what is the optimal size. Like, is it good to go go double my scan range before I scan again? Or do I want like some kind of overlap? So at the moment I'm doing like 1.75 multiplication, so I don't have to overlap. So I have a bit of an overlap, so I make sure I search everything instead of risking gaps, because I believe if you're not careful there could be a gap where the resource just kind of sits in the middle. Because obviously you can't get circles to perfectly touch each other, can you? So I'll have a bit of an overlap to try and defend against that issue. Otherwise though, what I'm currently doing is that thing where I try and remember where all the resources are and keep track of them all. And then I've got to figure out how I optimise my power, because you have a certain amount of power for each world. Like to start with you have a ridiculous amount which you'll never run out of. And then from then on you have medium energy limits. And medium energy is like 1,000. You've only got 1,000 energy. And this is taking my one bot. Well, no, you've got 1,000 energy 3 times, so 3 bots with 1,000 energy. But this one is taking my bot like X amount. It's taking it a lot of energy to do what it's doing, because to be fair, it's doing quite a lot of stuff. It's taking like 1,500, I think, on average, between 1,500 and 1,000 to collect all of these. In theory, if you've got 3, obviously, then you wouldn't have to do that. But so what I'm trying to do is, firstly, reduce how many calls I'm doing on the service, so I do all the processing inside the rover itself, because I don't want the service to what am I trying to say there? I don't want the service to, like, if I do a call to the service, it might be like, oh right, that uses some power. I don't know that for a certain. I'm going to do it anyway. And also it cleans up the code a little bit if I start using just like local variables instead of multiple service calls. I'm then going to work on tracking things that I've seen but haven't navigated to yet. Like, the amount of times that happens in this scenario is pretty slim, because obviously these are all randomly generated, but maybe if I was here, it would, these two had gone, let's say, and I was here, it would go to this one and then, oh hello, it will go to this one, but then from here it wouldn't be able to see that, so it would have to research again, whereas if I do it cleverly, I'd be able to generate down to it. But look, if I just put this on now, if I put it on like fast, let's put it on ×8 speed, it generates down. Look, it's searching through the space, it can't quite see those yet. It'll get to about here, and now it can see this. So it generates that, and it goes right back. See, that goes the shortest way possible back. Shortest way possible back. Problem is now it's going to go down to here. Oh, sorry, you can't even see that. So here we go. This is now going to be depleted. It will then search around it. So now it's in this little cluster here. It'll do really well, because it'll be like, oh, well, I can just go to that one. Bang, bang. And then it'll go, oh, bang, bang, bang. From here, it'll then, I think it'll have to search to be able to see that one. But yeah, so that's basically how it works at the moment. It's doing pretty well as well, to be honest. Like in this scenario here, it just friggin' killed it. It did amazing. So this is it. So yeah, I want to do that thing where I memorise where things that I've seen are, so that I can navigate back to them if I need to, if I can't see anything else. So I'll kind of like have a stored check, and then I want to try and, I want to do that, and then want to reduce the amount of times that I do scans of the environment, because I don't think it's 100% necessary. And then I'm going to look into optimising my attributes. You have 9 points to use, and you can have speed, range and load. So at the moment I've got a really big range of 5. I've got a load of 2 and a speed of 2. I need to figure out like what the advantages are of having a fast speed and all that kind of stuff. I need to try and find an optimal. So they're the 3 things that I'm going to try and do today, and then we'll move on to the other stuff. But marks wise, is always worth noting. I'm saying this, 10% is for the single agent scenarios, and then you get 15% for 3 agent scenarios, 20% for the 10 agent scenarios. God damn it, that's the wrong, it's the wrong order. Damn it, okay. I'm spending a lot of time on the single agent ones, but in theory, the reason I'm doing this is because the single agent scenario, if your single agents are good enough, you don't need a lot of communication between the 2 of them. Like, all you essentially need to do is have a global idea of how much you've picked up. That's it. And then your rovers will just do their own thing. But as the world starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger, you will end up having to go to, as your world gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you're going to have to start, well, I'm over here, and then you'll have to tell others where you are and stuff, which is going to be fun. But yeah, do I ever move from this chair, or do I just like change my clothes every now and again? So today has been a day of working on this kind of stuff. It's been really boring, to be honest with you. It's just been raining outside, and yeah, it's just been like constant rain, and like sitting where you go and have lunch, and then come back and do more work, and it's been so boring. And I felt really sorry for Laura as well, who's next door, just watching TV all day basically. Bless your consult. So let's go with that. So what's been going on? I have been making changes and stuff to this. I don't believe I've got any more changes, like pending. No. So I've been making changes to my code in an attempt to try and track resources that are found, because as soon as we go into a system where we have more than one rover, I'm going to need to be able to communicate the location of different resource points. This is specifically true because I've now changed my tactic for this. Like, having my original tactic for the multi-agent system was to have X amount of equally able bots. Like in this scenario where like, all of these bots are good on their own, you communicate between each other so that you can all have a common goal, but otherwise you're just acting purely on your own. You're not working in a team per se, you know what I mean? Whereas a lot of people have been saying like, oh, I wonder how good it would be if you had one good searcher and then you had 2 good carriers, and then you just sent out the searcher to search the area and you sent out the carriers to get everything the searcher finds. Whereas otherwise my system, whereas otherwise I was going to have like three rovers that were good on their own, like in a scenario where they're on their own, but then they're literally just going out and getting everything as if they were on their own, but then communicating what they'd got with everyone else. And then maybe if they'd found 2 and gone for 1, they'd pass the other over to someone else. That kind of scenario instead. I mean, we've had like a bit of a discussion about it, and I've come to the terms that actually it probably would be better to have 1 searching, 2 finding and stuff like that, and that kind of like asymmetric approach. So there's that. That's what we've been working on today. We had dinner. This is literally all I've done. I'm really... We've had dinner, and we've been working on this. Well, after dinner, I've just been like watching TV, put my pyjamas on, had a glass of wine, and some Ben & Jerry's while watching The Hunt and London Spy, which is good, but it's weird, man. It's bloody strange as hell. We're behind as well, so don't spoil it. So, yeah, that's about all, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, we're on campus. We've got a lecture at 12 o'clock. I'm going to be coming home immediately after, because while my Surface can run this, it finds it difficult to. So I don't want to do anything silly, basically. Like I know it's going to be less productive working on campus, but that's life. But otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end my video so that I can render it, get uploaded and all that kind of good stuff. Thank you very much for watching this video. I apologise for how boring it is. Tomorrow probably isn't going to be much better until this deadline's out of the way, to be honest, because this is like the thing on my priority list. But I'm at the point where I have a fully working singular robot. I'm literally going through it. It doesn't work yet. I got it working. I've got the changes in. I just need to debug it. I'm getting to the point where it can track all the resources that it finds. With a certain level of hacking. Other people are only just starting. It's in for Thursday. And yeah, I know in Rover 2.0, which is going to be the one with the communication, there's going to be 2 bots. There's going to be a change to the way that it searches instead of the current way that it searches. And there is going to be a change... No, there isn't. There's no... We know what the change is. So yeah. But that's all, ladies and gentlemen. I apologise. I really do, for how boring things are at the moment. But we only have 2 weeks left on campus. Like, 2 full weeks, and then we're free for the weekend. Well, for like a month. It's going to be bliss. Although I have got coursework to do, it's going to be less intense. So just hang on in there, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you later.